You know what really sucks? Being the only person you know who likes something in pop culture, which, yeah, sounds like a contradiction because the pop in pop culture means popular, but it's a term that still points to the category of media I mean. Now, I know some people, hipsters mostly, revel in preferring something nobody else does, like this somehow makes them special for recognizing value in something that everyone else is too intellectually stunted to be able to appreciate, or claiming to have liked something before it was cool, being the first to recognize its greatness before everybody else got a clue. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's rather fake, forced, done for boosting what I can only assume is an otherwise fragile ego. No, I'm talking about when you genuinely love something and it turns out that everybody else either hates it, thinks it's meh, or has never heard of it. Take, for example, my favorite band, ROXETTE. They were mildly popular in the late 80s, early 90s. Their song The Look got some attention in the US, as did Listen to Your Heart. After the movie Pretty Woman came out, It Must Have Been Love got really popular. And then they completely fell off the radar. Well, here in the United States, anyway. ROXETTE's actually from Sweden, and the rest of the world seems to think they're awesome. Now, they became my favorite band in an interesting way. Back then, I was still using cassette tapes. It was the late 80s, early 90s. And I had a stereo sitting next to me with the radio on and the tape set to record with the pause button pressed. When a song I liked came on the radio, I'd quickly unpause and record the song, basically making a random-ass mixtape. Well, after a while, I noticed that fully half of the songs I'd recorded were by the same band, so I went out and bought one of their albums, then immediately went out and bought the other, because there were only 2 available in the US at that time. There was a 3rd in Sweden that had never been released here. It was only later that I discovered that I was about the only person who liked them that much, and when I'd mention ROXETTE to other people, they'd stare at me blankly and ask, "Who?" When I'd name their popular songs, the response was usually, "Those were all by the same people?" So here is a band I genuinely love, did not become my favorite to make myself seem like a special snowflake, and about whom nobody else seemed to give a shit. And the sucky part was that I had nobody to geek out with. I couldn't discuss which songs were my favorite and why, then hear someone else's take on the band. Nobody who'd get excited with me about a concert, just all alone in my fandom. And speaking of concerts, since the US didn't seem to give a flying fornication, ROXETTE has stopped coming here. I've seen my favorite band in concert exactly once. Once. And it's not just ROXETTE. This has happened to me a lot. From preferring the good guys in movies, to being the only person I know who enjoyed certain short-lived TV shows, to picking the blue team when playing a multiplayer mobile game called Ingress, and only later finding out that almost all of my friends had picked green. I seem to end up preferring the unpopular underdog unintentionally, which means being all alone in my fandom. But you can't force other people to like what you do, so there's nothing to be done about it, is there? And you know what? That really sucks. It's lonely.